Here we go.
And that is recording. Alright, man.
What's up?
So, good to have you here.
No problem.
And the reason why I wanted to bring you out here was because I know you're a janitor, right?
Yes.
Let me ask you this. How old are you?
I'm 25. 26.
26.
Yeah,
No
26.
way.
Yes.
Well, that's pretty cool. You don't look a day older than, I want to say 22.
No thanks.
But, yeah. But let me ask you a couple questions. So, I know you're a janitor.
Mm-hmm.
And I know there's this misconception that janitors tend to be kind of, and pardon my language if I don't mean no offense, but that janitors tend to be kind of, I want to say, uneducated. What do you want to say about that?
That's not true, honestly. They're not uneducated. It's some
Right.
of them just don't have degrees depending where they work at. And some janitors don't need a degree to work
Right.
as a janitor.
And let me make one thing clear. The reason I keep on hearing that is because, in my experience, because I've had multiple jobs. I worked at a Burger King. I worked at a call center. I've worked at a number of restaurants, and I work right now in IT. And I've heard some pissy people talk about how, you know what, if you don't want to get an education, you can just go work at McDonald's. You can just go be a janitor or whatever. Honestly, I kind of find that offensive because, I mean, I know you, and I know that that's something kind of fucked up to say about people. So let me ask you this. I know that being a janitor can honestly kind of suck. What does your day consist of? I want to hear what you do on a day-to-day basis. Like, what do you do when you wake up all the way to the time that you go to sleep?
What I do mainly when I wake up, pack everything I need for work. Like if I need like my keys for work, because janitors have a lot of keys to open.
Right.
Except for here, they gives a certain amount because mostly the managers mostly have the most keys.
Okay.
But we get that. I have to make sure I have my door to my house keys. Make sure I have my charger because I'm doing like 10 to 11 hour shift if we don't include lunch. So my phone would die because I use it a lot, even though I'm supposed not to. I use it a lot because it's 11 hours. It's gonna be boring. Whether I do a lot, it's gonna still be boring.
Yeah.
So I make sure I have all that. When I get to work, I make sure I have to clock in. We have to clock in 2 different ways. Look. Fingertip and paper to make sure they get an accurate clock in.
You know, that kind of perplexes me because we work in the same for the same organization.
Yeah.
I'm an IT and you're a janitor. We don't have to go through all of those extensive processes, even though I feel as though we probably should because we do have more security checkpoints to go through.
Yes.
So you go through all of that in the morning. How long does that take you? Because I know you're supposed to be here on the building at 8 in the morning. Is that right?
9.
9. Okay.
If I'm 8 in the morning, I'm early, depending on the day if I get clock in early. But I'm supposed to be in around 9. Sometimes I'm always late because depending on, I use Uber to get here.
Okay.
I use Uber. If I take a bus, I have to wake up early. I'm not very good at waking up early. So when I do wake up early, I still use Uber because it's like 8.
Yeah.
And it takes a whole hour to get over here with the bus. I'll be late no matter what. So I take Uber. It takes about, if I'm lucky, I get here by 9:10.
9:10. Okay.
And if it just takes about 5 minutes in total, this depending on our elevators. If I use a stair, 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
Yeah, it takes 10 minutes to go up and down.
Oh, yeah.
Just to do all of it.
Okay. And once you're already clocked in and settled in, you already have all your cables in place. You've already clocked in. You've already established yourself in the building for the day. What is the first task that you go through?
I have to make sure my supplies are there. Basically.
Okay.
I have to make sure I have enough supplies to resupply myself through the whole day. If I don't, I have to go back to the building because there's 2 separate buildings. I don't clock in here. I clock over there. So I have to go over there again, which is the most tiring part of my job is going over there and just getting more supplies because you have to walk. Since we've been in construction, it's a lot harder now. So to make sure I have my supplies is the first thing I do before I get here and before I do anything. Because if I don't have the supplies, I won't be able to restock half the stuff or clean half of the stuff. So mainly I have to make sure I have mop water, Lysol, and all that shit that disinfects these people.
Right.
And after that, it's just my rounds. I gotta make sure I do my rounds at least, since it's the summer, 4 times.
It sounds very meticulous. It sounds like you have to have a certain amount of items within your cabinet, within your closets. And do you also have to leave? Because, well, I worked in a restaurant. Do you also have to leave a certain amount of restock for the next person's shift to come in?
No, because we have two people here for the mornings, and night shift has a different closet. They restock their own. So luckily, no. I just have to make sure my stuff's restocked for just in case I'm not here. The other person will at least have enough items. That's doing the morning because this is a two-man job.
Right.
Or two-person's job internal.
I like that you use that gender neutral word, two-person's job. Let me go ahead and ask you this. So, a lot of people tend to generalize a janitor with women, which is kind of untrue in my opinion. But however, from this building, from this particular organization, I do see that it's predominantly women.
Mm-hmm.
What is it like working as one of the few male janitors within your organization?
Well, it's not hard, isn't it? If we do pick up the most strength for the women, because these ladies are old, even the young ones, because they don't want them to hurt themselves, which I can understand now. Back then I didn't, because to me it felt like it was a little bit sexy. They should do that some work.
Yeah,
but then
exactly.
again, I realized that, like, you know what? They can't hurt themselves. These things are pretty heavy, especially when you push it a lot, especially when you're going down the slot to things. The shit will, like, step on your foot. You don't hold it correctly. So I kind of understood that. But being like, there's only 3 males in total, it's nothing weird about it. It's just more, we have to do more for them. Like, you like taking your house for your wives in a way. But they're not your wives, they're usually like your co-workers. You gotta make sure that you can pick up their slack. Yeah. If they don't have the strength to do it. Which they do a harder work than the men's, to be honest. I would admit that they do. They are quick and fast. Us men's, I would admit we play around and we get our shit done, right. But we don't have a lot to do.
Yeah, we have a lot to owe to them actually. So let me ask you this one question: what are some things you like about your job? So some things you actually look forward to doing.
Well, I look forward to just walking around because I'm a lazy person. It gives me a reason to walk around, to be honest. Right. But the most thing is like getting out of that house. This job gets me out for like a whole day, and I kind of like it. On some days I don't, but some days I do. It's the best part of my job. It's like I don't have to be home all day being bored with my life.
You know, let me ask you one thing. I'm a firm believer in that pretty much any job that you have, whether it's a shitty job or a professional job,
True.
Can actually impact your life in a certain way. For example, I'm saying my first job was at a local Burger King, and I was a shift manager. And it was a really bad neighborhood, and just a really bad job that I personally didn't like. It's an honorable job, of course, because you're serving people, but it's just a job that I didn't like. However, it did enable me to endure more patience with people and essentially enhance my leadership skills.
Yes.
Are there any certain skills that you think this certain position is providing you with that you can apply to your later life?
Yes, it helps you be more responsible and be more focused on what you're doing. Exactly. It makes you realize, how do I say this word? Find out more stuff that you never noticed, like the little stuff.
Like you're more detail oriented.
You're more detail organized in this job than you think, because some jobs you don't have to be that detailed, but if you realize something immediately, you pick it up, and sometimes people love that about you.
Yeah, exactly. And the reason why I'm asking you this is because a lot of people tend to dislike their jobs, and that's not anything out of the ordinary. Yeah, I mean there are a lot of things, but I asked you this because a lot of us, and the main reason why I'm doing this series is because I want to broaden the perspective of a lot of people within certain fields, and I want them to understand what it is for somebody to work in a certain field. For example, I might have a worker from an oil plant coming next after you.
Yeah. And
the reason why I'm asking is because we tend to see only the negative in a lot of our jobs. For example, a good thing that I like about my job is, again, helping people. But you know, the list for why I could actually dislike my job is a lot longer than why.
Of course.
So
you find more dislike in your jobs than you actually enjoy it, but the enjoyment is what you keep your job for.
Exactly. So let me ask you this: what is something that you dislike?
Dislike? Oh man.
Feel free to be as explicit as you want.
To be honest, I don't like cleaning at all. I'm lazy about it, but I do dislike it because sometimes these restrooms, like these people don't clean after themselves. Like they leave it like it's their house. When this is like a public area, the place we're in is not a public area. It's an organization. It's an organization. Has a decency for people.
Exactly.
Like some people do, but like when I go in there, I see like, how do I say this? Like there's like shit on the floor sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
So, like,
There's
why
piss on the
is there
floor.
shit and piss on the floor? Why are you like throwing up when you could just throw up in a trash can? Or if you do make it a mess, at least let us know so we can get to it before someone else flips or fall, or say something about it. It's like you make some people could see they can make the difference. 'Cause I used to work at a job called AMC. When I worked there,
That's the movie theater, right?
Yeah, the
Okay.
restaurant is messy. The restroom is always messy in there. And ever since I stopped going there, when I started going back, I clean up the restrooms a little bit, cause it's like those porters don't have time to do it all the time, cause it's always packed. Be decent enough to do that. I get like you found like some of their stuff they do rude or they're ignoring you when they're trying to serve you, but on the other hand, you're probably annoying these people more for what you're doing, and that's why they're treating you like that.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
treat them disrespectfully, they're gonna treat you disrespectfully whether it's their job or not. Because one, you're disrespecting a person. They're not like servants like back in the day. These are people.